won't none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Ross the Tar Heel, and I hope everyone is having a fantastic start to their 2024, and welcome to the Tar Heel Huddle. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the number 8 North Carolina Tar Heels date with the number 16 ranked Clemson Tigers in Littlejohn Coliseum Saturday, January 6th at noon on ESPN2. But you already know that before we get into the nuts and bolts of this pivotal ACC battle, we've got to take a look at those updated ACC rankings. And there has been quite the splash because last night the Miami Hurricanes beat the number 16 Clemson Tigers at Miami 95-82 in somewhat convincing fashion that now has the Heels, Canes, Deacons, and the Wolfsack all knotted up at 2-0 atop the conference, while Clemson moves to 1-1 in conference play in a 5-way tie for second with Florida State, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, and last and least, Puke. Now, the University of North Carolina is 123-22 all-time against the Clemson Tigers. Since 2000, they are 30-7. At Littlejohn Coliseum, Carolina is 11-6 since 2000, so it hasn't necessarily been an automatic win, if you will. Littlejohn can be a little raucous at times, and despite that loss to Miami, you know that their fan base is going to see this as an amazing opportunity to wash that nasty taste out of their mouth as soon as possible. So a little bit about these two teams in 2023 first. The North Carolina Tar Heels are averaging 85 points per game, and they're giving up 72 points per game. Clemson is averaging 82.2 points per game, and they're giving up 71.2 points per game. The Clemson Tigers are led by head coach Brad Brownell, who has been at Clemson since 2010. He's amassed a 252-179 record at Clemson, good for a .585 winning percentage in his long stint with the Tigers. Now, the Clemson Tigers' leading scorer is 6'10", 238-pound senior center P.J. Hall, who is averaging 20.2 points per game, which is good for 20th in the country, 6.5 rebounds, 2.1 assists, and he's shooting 56.3% from the floor. He's also shooting 37.9% from three. PJ has been terrific at carving out space on the blocks, and once he establishes position, you can almost count it. He's going to finish. He will also step out and pop as well. So this is going to be a tough challenge for Mondo, especially being that PJ will hang out sometimes outside as well. And he'll pull it from deep. So this is a really good player, guys. And this is going to be a tough guard for Armando Bacot because he's got to guard him inside. And like I said, PJ is physical down low on the blocks, man. He literally will get down there and he will carve out stinking space. He's a great post-up player and knows how to use his body and get that good leverage. And they're real good at giving him feeds inside where all he's got to do is drop step and get to the bucket, man. So he's going to have to be physical against PJ, Armando that is. Down low, I'd even try to keep him out top. Maybe come up there and step out on him up top and try to prevent him from coming out low. But he's also going to have to be out there anyway because PJ will pull it from three. Then you have 6'8", 238-pound junior forward Ian Shefflin, who is averaging 8.5 points per game, 9.8 rebounds, which is good for 19th in the country. So he's all over the stinking glass. 2.2 assists, and he's shooting 56% from the field along with 57.1% from three. He doesn't necessarily take a ton of them, but Ian can knock them down when he does decide to pull it, as the guy just has a nose for the basketball, man. So, hey, he's going to be all over the glass. He's a real gritty guy, a little bit undersized for kind of a 4. And he plays kind of down there on the blocks too. So it'll be interesting to see how Ian factors into this game. Then there's 6'10", 210-pound sophomore Chauncey Wiggins, who's averaging 8.1 points per game, 2.1 rebounds, and 1.1 assists. He's shooting 48.8% from the field and 38.1% from 3. This guy can also knock him down too. So you just can't leave Chauncey alone. He's 6'10", but the dude will knock down some threes, so you got to step out on him as well. Then there's 6'4", 200-pound senior guard Chase Hunter, who's averaging 11.4 points per game, 2.5 assists, 3.4 assists, and he's shooting 39.4% from the floor. He's also shooting 32.1% from 3. Now, Hunter's game kind of reminds me a little bit of Seth Trimble. He's a little bit bigger than Seth, size and stature, if you will, but he's not as athletic as Seth. Yeah, if you kind of watch these guys play, there's some striking correlations. That's just my personal opinion. Some striking correlations, but he's not nearly the athlete that Seth is. And then last but not least, there's Syracuse transfer, 6'2", 189-pound senior guard Joseph Girard III, who is averaging 15.8 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, 3.8 assists. He's shooting 46.7% from the floor and 45.2% from 3. He's also shooting 92% from the free throw line. You cannot give this guy space or he will make you pay. You have to make this kid put the ball on the floor and try to beat you on the dribble drive because he wants to set and shoot. This is your stereotypical Syracuse guy, man, that kind of hangs out there, and he will catch and shoot, and he will pull it from stinking deep. And now, for the heroes in Carolina Blue. The Tar Heels are led by head coach Hubert Davis, who is in his 3rd year at his alma mater, amassing a 59-26 record, good for a .694 winning percentage. The North Carolina Tar Heels leading scorer is 6', 180-pound senior guard R.J. Davis, who is averaging 21.1 points per game. That's tied for 11th in the entire country. 3.4 rebounds, 3.6 assists. He's shooting 43.7% from the field and 39.6% from 3. He's also shooting 94.9% from the line. RJ has been phenomenal this year. The Heels point guard is 6', 180-pound freshman Elliot Cadeau, who is averaging 7 points per game, 1.6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, while shooting 46.4% from the field and 28.6% from 3. Elliott needs to continue to be aggressive to the rack. And I think in this game, he's got a real good opportunity of really getting down there in the paint and causing some havoc. That is, if he gets in that mindset that the guy cannot guard him and he starts getting inside. I think Elliott can do that in this game. Then you got 6'5", 195-pound senior guard Cormac Ryan, who's averaging 11.1 points per game, 3.7 rebounds, and 1.3 assists. He's shooting 37.1% from the floor and 28.1% from 3. 6'7", 235-pound junior forward Harrison Ingram is averaging 13.4 points per game, 7 boards, 2.5 assists, while shooting 44.1% from the floor and 42.9% from 3. Harrison had 15 stinking boards in true workmanlike performance against the Pitt Panthers. And you just love to see guys keep their stinking head down, man. Or keep their head up, if you will, and grind even when the ball isn't going into the bucket on one end. He impacted the game so often on the other end, dude. The guy's just a stinking dog, and I love it. And then there's 6'11", 240-pound senior preseason All-American forward Armando Bacot. He's averaging 14.9 points per game, 10.8 rebounds, which is good for 5th in the entire country and 1.2 assists. He's shooting 52.8% from the field. He's also shooting 80% from the line. So that's a place where he has drastically improved his game. And keep an eye out for my man Seth Trimble. He's averaging 16.8 minutes per game, 6.2 points per game. And here's kind of the sleepy under-the-table stats. My guy is shooting 52.8% from the field and 54.5% from three. Just putting that out there real quick, man, because those are really good numbers. Even though, obviously, he's not necessarily going to be known as a three-point shooter. But when you're shooting 50%, over 50% from both, hey, man, that's like, hey, coach, put me in the game. Put me in the game. So now that we've looked at the rosters, let's talk about Russ's 3 keys to victory. And it all starts with key number 1, punish PJ. Baycott and the Heels have got to do a tremendous job of meeting Hall out high before he establishes position down low. He plays a physical style of basketball down there and is an above-average player with his back to the basket. But he's also capable of hurting you from deep. Mondo is going to have to be really attentive on the defensive side of the floor. PJ is going to get his, make no mistake about it. But if Carolina can hold him in check, if you will, it would be a huge win. Key number 2, guard Girard. You say, yeah, of course, Russ. No, I mean guard him. I mean stay in that kid's stinking chest, right on his hip. Do not give him space. Make him put the ball on the floor. I don't care if he's 5 feet behind the arc. You guard him out high. You start giving him space, and that kid can light it up. I'm telling Cormac and Seth, or whoever's defensive responsibility that guy is, specifically that you're going to stay in that kid's chest. You're going to deny him the basketball all game. Make that guy tired of you standing over the top of him. Guard Girard. And key number 3, lower the volume in Littlejohn. After Clemson dropped their first conference game to the Miami Hurricanes, we all know that entire fan base is ready to get back into the win column. And what better opportunity than hosting the University of North Carolina at your house? If Carolina can take their legs, as they say, with a couple of tough body shots, it may just quiet the Littlejohn faithful and take them out of the basketball game. If Carolina shows the toughness and the togetherness they had against Pitt, they'll have a great chance at leaving Littlejohn with a W. And that'll take us to Russ's score prediction. The ESPN matchup indicator is throwing haterade all over the Heels in this one, as it gives the Clemson Tigers a 57.3% chance of beating our Tar Heels. I think that this is going to be another really tough environment and game for Carolina, but I actually like the way we match up with this team. PJ Hall and Girard are the guys that Carolina needs to put a lid on. And I think that we have the personnel to accomplish that task. I'm going to take the Tar Heels in this one, 85-80. And another really impressive road test for the Heels as they navigate game number 2 of this 3-game away trip, if you will. I think they hold both PJ and Girard under their season averages, and they have some good success getting into the paint and creating easier shots by Elliott and RJ's penetration. Watch for Armando to be impressive in this one as well, down low on the blocks. I just really have a good feeling about where this team is mentally, currently, right now. So tell me what you think about my score prediction right now, Tar Heel Nation and Tiger Nation. Am I onto something, or am I down here on the end of the bench with some bifocals on and a clipboard because I have no idea what the heck I'm talking about? Not to say that people with bifocals and clipboards don't know what they're talking about. Actually, they probably know what they're talking about, but you get what I'm saying. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and consider helping your boy build this thing for Tar Heel Nation by becoming a member of the Huddle Hooligans. Shout out to the Huddle Hooligans, man. You guys are stinking awesome. I appreciate your continued support, man. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Live reaction and watch party this Saturday, 10 minutes before the tip, so you make sure that you come and hang out with your boy as the Heels invade Littlejohn. I love you, Tar Heel Nation. Go Heels, baby. And we'll catch you on the next one.